And welcome to Chapter 4 of Chronicles del Vaping Beaner. I actually tried to record this before, and YouTube was being a dick and wouldn't verify the video. Maybe because it was too long, I don't know. But we're going to try this again. This is actually going to be a video for the beginners. A lot of people have been asking me all kinds of questions and such, whether it's related to juice, or it's related to mods, where I get my product, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to try to answer some of the questions here, and hopefully it'll answer most of your questions. I'm going to say first off right here at the beginning, if you have any further questions after this video, anything random that maybe comes to your head that you couldn't think of before, please feel free to message me either on YouTube. Most of you will have my Facebook, so you can message me on there. And if for whatever reason you hate Facebook Messenger, my phone number is also on my Facebook profile, so you can feel free to text me. I work midnights, so even if you text me at like 20 after 2 in the morning or something, I'll still be awake most of the time. So feel free to get a hold of me. Of course, if you're on a vape forum or a group on Facebook or something too, obviously feel free to post something on there too, so you'll have a lot more people that can give you answers. You might get a more well-rounded answer since you're going to be getting it from multiple people. So I do actually have a list here on my phone of questions that were asked to me. So we're just going to go down the list one by one and move through those. And then once again, if you have any more questions, just let me or somebody else know. We'll answer it as best as we can. The first thing that I do want to touch on is that I've noticed that a lot of new vapors, they get really hesitant to ask questions because they don't want to look like as much of a noob as maybe they actually are. Please do not feel any kind of fear to ask questions. We would rather you ask questions and then be able to answer them for you, rather than you possibly blow up your mod or your face or something, or just maybe not have the experience that you want to have because you didn't ask the questions that might have helped you out tremendously. One of the big questions that I get asked is why their mod is not producing a lot of vapor, which is one of the questions that I actually have written down. The big answer to that is simply that your mod might not be producing the amount of power that you need it to be able to create that thick of a vapor. A lot of people, especially when they're starting out, they usually end up with a spinner, maybe like an MVP like this. You end up with something real simple like this. Maybe you can adjust the wattage and the voltage or something like that, but it's really going to be mostly the tank that goes on top of it. The coil is simply not going to be able to handle a resistance as low as like a mechanical mod, which is going to be something kind of like this. This is an Anarchist and actually has a Aspire Atlantis tank on top of it. Being a tank, it actually is still going to ohm out at 0.5 ohms. So the resistance is still really low, so it is going to create a decent amount of vapor. I'm going to give you a quick example real quick just so you can take a look. Some of you may not have seen the Atlantis in action. Maybe have kind of been questioning whether you want to get one. So let's go ahead and take a vape on it real quick so you guys can take a look. Yeah, and that's going to be off of a tank. Now mind you, of course, that is, once again, 0.5 ohms, and it does have a regular battery in it. This is not going to be a standard rechargeable unit like your MVP or your spinner or something like that, where you just plug that directly into your charger. Something that maybe is going to get a little bit more crazy for some of you guys out there that are questioning whether or not you want to be able to just simply have the nicotine to get yourself off of those stinkies, to get yourself off the cigarettes, or if you do want to get into something more extreme like cloud chasing or something like that. This is actually my box mod. I actually got this last Saturday from Chad Lucas, NeoVape. Thanks a lot, Chad. It's working out awesome for me. But this thing right here This is going to allow me to do all kinds of craziness with the clouds. This actually is going to have 2 batteries in it. These are 18650 batteries. These ones specifically are Samsung's. But this is going to allow me to create all kinds of crazy clouds. However, the primary place that you're going to get your clouds from is actually going to be the atomizer itself, right here. Because this is going to allow me to decide what I want my coils to ohm at. This right here, you can see it's got 2 coils in there. These ones are actually 5-wrap 24 gauge. They ohm out at about 0.22. So it's not super low, but it's going to be a lot hotter than some of you beginners are used to. So especially when you start building, if you decide to get into rebuildables, I'm going to recommend starting with like a 26 gauge wire so you can get yourself kind of used to it. You'll probably ohm out roughly around 0.4, 0.5, something like that. So you can just get used to the heat and prepare yourself what's going to be coming with the lower resistance builds. Like I said, this one is at a 0.22. So let's go ahead and take a vape on this real quick so you guys can see how it chucks. Yeah. So again, your clouds are going to be primarily from the heat that the atomizer is going to create. There are going to be differences with the juice as well. Your PG and VG, which is the next question that I'm going to be touching on, that's going to be a big factor on how thick you're going to be able to get your clouds to. Your standard juice that you're going to start out with, like for example, your liquid juices, these suckers are going to be at about 50-50 PG-VG blend, which means the juice is pretty thin. It's going to have a lot of flavor to it, which of course for most beginners, that's really what you're after, is going to be the flavor. But when you start getting into something that's more cloud chasing, you're going to need to have a thicker juice, so you have a higher VG count or percentage. So you're going to want to start getting into more premium juices. Yes, they are going to be more expensive, but yes, you're also going to get a much better juice. The flavor most of the time is more natural flavoring rather than being artificial flavoring. The vegetable glycerin percentage that is in there, which is the VG, the PG is actually propylene glycol, is what it stands for. But your VG percentage is going to be higher, so you have more of a likelihood to be able to get really thick, dense clouds from your juice. But that, of course, once again, going back, is going to very much be determined by the actual atomizer or dripping atomizer that you have on your tank or on your mod. Like I stated earlier, you don't have to have a dripping atomizer. A lot of people, like myself for example, I don't drip and drive. It's just dumb. It's like texting and driving. You just don't do it. It's stupid. But when you do decide that you want to drip, if you decide that you want to drip, you'll notice that it is a little bit more time consuming. Not extremely, but a little bit. Especially rather than having a tank where you can just fill it up and go. This is actually what I use to drive. Whether I'm at work or I'm at like just in my car running errands or whatever, I use my tank when I'm driving. Moving forward, like I had stated before, I want to get into some of these other juices too. You're going to have a lot of juice companies that are out there, some that are local, some that are national. Some of the local ones, for example, like my favorite is actually going to be Strange Clouds. The juices are just very flavorful. So especially if you are more of a flavor chaser, don't really care about the clouds themselves. Strange Clouds is definitely a brand that I would be looking into if I were you. You can go to First Choice Vapor, which is actually it's in Canton South. If you are in the Canton-Akron area, it is in Canton South, on Cleveland Avenue. You can also go to Smart Ash if you're trying to stay more in like the Belden Village area. That's going to be on Whipple next to the BMV. It's in the same plaza, just the other end of the plaza. But they do also carry Strange Clouds brand juices. If you really don't care where it's from and you just want to make sure that you get a really flavorful juice that maybe is a little bit thicker, whether you do or don't want clouds, Alt Smoke in Belden Village is actually going to be my first stop at any given time. I'm actually kind of diving into one of my other questions that I had on here too, which was where I get my products and juice. So I'm going to kind of do both of these at the same time. But Alt Smoke in Belden Village, it's in the Marks Plaza. Once again, at the other end, it's more next to Penn Station and Panera. But if you go down over there, they've got all kinds of products. They've got all kinds of juice, and you can try all of the juice. So whether you want like a coffee flavor or a chocolate flavor, if you like fruit flavors or dessert flavors, or if you want a menthol or regular just tobacco flavor, whatever you like, they're going to have something for everybody there. So make sure you go down, go with some time so you have the opportunity to really try out those flavors. The folks over there are really friendly. They're more than happy to help you out. And on top of being friendly, probably more importantly, they're also extremely knowledgeable. So no matter what it is that you're going to ask them, they're going to be able to give you an answer that's going to help out tremendously. No matter what your question is, whether it is about juice, whether it's about mods, whether if it's simple questions that maybe I answered, maybe you just wanted a second opinion. Whatever the question may be, they're going to have an answer for you. Also, like I stated, Smartash. Smartash is also going to be another place that you could go to, get yourself a decent selection of product. I actually bought my charger from Smartash just because they happen to have them in stock. Tiffany was gracious enough to put the charger aside for me because she knew that I was looking for one, knew that I was going to be coming in. So she put it aside for me so I could make sure to pick it up and not have to worry about them selling out of them. If you have any other questions, maybe you're a little bit closer to Smartash, don't want to drive as far as Belden Village. I know Belden Village can get kind of crazy with traffic. Sometimes people don't want to go out that way. Definitely stop out at Smartash. They're more than happy to help you out over there too. You're also going to have, like I stated, First Choice Vapor in Canton South. There are definitely going to be a couple of places in Akron too. Like for example, the Akron Vapor Station. If you're further north, you can definitely stop over there. You got Kings of Vapor as well in Akron. Like there's one on Arlington Road, and then there's one, I forget where the other one is, but it's also going to be in Akron further north. If you're further out towards Massillon, you got the Vapor Station in Massillon on Navarre Road. It's going to be just off of 21 on Navarre Road, so definitely make sure to stop out over there if you're closer there. They also have a huge selection of products. They got a good selection of juice as well. Prices are very fair, so make sure you stop out over there if you're further out that way. Let's see here. We're going to take a look at my list here, see what all we got